you coming up here?
All right. I was gonna start singing. Actually, they'll probably turn it off. Honestly. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the neighborhood. And thank you to the neighborhood for hosting us. Obviously, I'm not Serafina. I'm Dave Shorey with the Institute for Public Strategies, and I'd like to also introduce Mia, who is our prevention specialist for the remainder of December. And we work for the Institute for Public Strategies, and we have our co-chairs here, Manola, Chelsea, Jack in the back. That sounds like a restaurant. Yeah. And want to ask, are there any newcomers here tonight? Awesome. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest and your dedication to Lemon Grove. Did I do that?
Another mic.
Pay no attention to the sounds of the man behind the curtain. If you are new or if you are a regular, please remember to sign in at the back or at that round table there. We also have agendas if you do not have one and you want to follow along. So, what's your name, ma'am? Jackie? Welcome, Jackie Clark. Glad to have you. And if you want to stick back after the meeting, you can chat with the co-chairs. You can chat with me. They're much more interesting. But I'll chat too. So, and we can kind of fill you in on some of the stuff that's been happening and answer any questions you have. So IPS is here because we are a public health organization that is focused on upstream environmental prevention. We look at community conditions, and so we provide technical support to community coalitions who are working to improve the health and welfare of their communities. And so we do behind-the-scenes stuff. We are not funded by the city of Lemon Grove. We are actually funded by the county of San Diego through a grant that's focused on substance use prevention. And so we're happy to be here. So without further ado, I'm going to turn over this to our co-chairs to give some updates, and then there'll be more talking from me.
Hi there, everyone. As I fall on live TV, this will be good. So first off, the update for Promenade. Everybody who went out there, thank you so much for coming out. That was a very great project. Hopefully everybody got to watch our recap videos because that came out so good. I'm very happy to say that I went out there this morning to water and did not have to. So we did have somebody come in and fix the irrigation, and then the city came in and must have our sprinklers going as well. So I went to go water, and it was lovingly wet. And I was like, oh, yes. And we already have some of our flower seeds that are starting to sprout. And I can tell exactly where little kids dumped a whole bunch all in one spot. But still, it'll be really fun. And if you haven't had a chance to go out and see the signs in person, they are absolutely lovely. So please consider taking a walk over there. For the bonfire, great bonfire. I hope everybody had a good time. It was just really fun. We did make $82 off of our sales over there. And Manola would like to have me subtract the amount that I paid, but I am going to use that as a donation towards us. So I'm going to give us all $82 for the sales of our product. And we did the glow sticks and the glow rings, which actually were a really big hit. So we were very surprised. So that is it for me. I'm going to have, who wants to do caroling, Anne or Manola? Anne, I'm going to have you do anything on caroling, because I will not be here for caroling. I'm very sorry, guys. I have my surgery for my sinuses scheduled. I will be down, but Anne will be lead on that.
Surgery for her sinuses. Sound all you said sons. So we'll be praying for Chelsea. It's a very delicate surgery. They go up into your brain, and we don't want So so excited to be able to host the starting place for the Christmas caroling on Broadway this Saturday. So please tell all your friends, push it out on social media. There are 2 really cool flyers I'll show you in just a second for that. So we're going to start here at 4 p.m. on Saturday, the 20th. And we're going to organize, get our lyric sheets, our bells, and all our fun things. I don't know if we're having 1 group or 2 groups. I know there was talk of possibly having 2 groups and having 2 guitarists, but we at least have 1 guitarist for sure. And we'll start caroling down Broadway, singing at the businesses, stopping at the corners, different places. We don't need an event permit if we don't stay somewhere if we stay somewhere less than 15 minutes. So we'd stop and sing a couple songs and move along. Go all the way down. Are we going to the bistro again this year? Going to go down, turn left at the Lemon, go to the bistro, go inside and serenade the diners there. And I think we'll do the same thing. El Pollo Grill, they welcomed us last year. Then we'll come back here. Meanwhile, Talia Morales is going to be setting up to do a family-friendly sing-along here. And so that'll be for people who can't do the walking and or just want to keep on singing. So she'll be ready for everybody when they come back from the caroling. And we'll have Santa out in the little courtyard out there for a photo op. That's going to be a fundraiser for Revitalize, right? For printing photos for $5, I think, something like that. And then to help cover the overhead for the neighborhood, we're going to be selling refreshments, hot cocoa, hot cider, and those kinds of fun things, Christmas cookies and the like. So please tell your friends. It is a great time. It's super fun. As cars drive by, they honk and wave, and it creates, just kind of lifts up the vibration of Broadway. So did I forget anything? Okay. All right, what's next? Speak well. Okay, so I'm going to put up the flyers while David is, I can't do that because he's plugging in using my plug. Okay, I'm going to give you my plug.
So when you go to a public meeting that allows public comment, there is usually a... Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. This is an event slip. Never mind. I thought we were... Okay. Yeah. I do. I'm catching on. No, it's okay. I read slip and I automatically went to speaker slip. So on your table or around the room, there are event slips, which we would ask if you know of an event or are hosting an event or would like to promote an event. Please fill out the information here. We will gather these at the end of the meeting, and we will include them in the notes that we send out. And so if you don't have all the details, but you know there's an event happening, put it down, and we'll try to investigate as best as possible to get that information out to you. There we go. In lieu of doing the announcements at the end, yeah. And we showed the holiday. Okay. We showed the holiday posters, and we hope that folks will come out and sing. You don't have to be good. You just have to have heart, right? Plus, if you aren't good, there's other folks who will sing, and they'll kind of cover you over, right? No? Okay, I won't. All right, so tonight, and that's why I'm in this presentation mode already, which is why when I got the slip, I saw speaker slip, and I was going to talk about speaking at City Council, but we will do that later on in the presentation. So normally this presentation is 2 hours. So just know that I have condensed it down, and we're going to go kind of a little speedy through this. However, if groups or people or others are interested in doing a standalone presentation with this, be happy to do this. This is an introduction to speaking to a public body, whether it be a city council, board of supervisors, or any kind of thing where there is public speaking time. So when you think about speaking before an elected body, what are some 1 or 2 word things that come to mind? Just throw them out. Fear? Intimidation? Okay. Maybe stuttering or losing your place? Maybe not wanting to be on camera? Those kinds of things? Huh? Time limit. Oh, yep. So what we're going to talk about here is going to cover time limits. It's going to cover how you present. It's going to cover some do's and don'ts. So let's go ahead and get into the presentation. So today we are going to talk about how to use a framework, which we will go into for making Lemon Grove communities healthier, safer, and more equitable. Learn how to effectively organize and present a position on issues to decision makers, and learn how data and storytelling can enhance advocacy efforts, and gain skills to include confidence, comfort, and comfort level when speaking. So, some of you may have seen this, some of you may not. This is the ACT model. This is what IPS uses when we approach an effort in the community. And the reason why I bring this up is you see media advocacy there, which is part of our role. And media advocacy includes speaking to elected bodies. It includes speaking to the media. And so those are opportunities that will come up when you are engaged in community transformation, which is what Revitalize Broadway is doing. So advocacy, I think you all know, basically you want to affect change. We're thinking about doing it with an elected body or a city council, board of supervisors, etc. But really, advocacy can apply across the board. So this is the meat of the matter here, the message triangle. And so the message triangle consists of 3 parts. The why are you here? What exactly is the problem in the community? How is this a problem? What proof do you have that this is a problem and that it's really important? And then what can solve the problem? What is the best recommendation that you can make? This triangle serves as a foundation for any type of presentation that you want to do before an elected body. So, for example, I'm concerned about the graffiti and overall blight in my neighborhood. Last month alone, the Sheriff's Department reported 25 to 30 arrests in the 2500 block of ABC. Research has shown that providing routine maintenance, such as mowing, weeding, and gardening of blighted vacant lots, was associated with a 40% reduction in violent crime and assaults. Therefore, we advocate for funds to hire a company to clean up these lots in the XYZ neighborhood on a periodic basis. So the why, I'm concerned, the how, the instances of arrests, and the what, routine maintenance and having the city or the elected body provide a funding or a dedication of effort to that. So we want to talk about data versus storytelling. When we get up and we speak before bodies, we want to think about the information we want to relay. Sometimes that information is very detail-oriented, and that's good. You know, we have how many people are, the numbers of people affected, the number of plants planted, the number of arrests made, etc. But who finds strictly data interesting? No. So then we think about storytelling. There are some people. I was going to look at our new city council member who has. I find data interesting too, but there's also a component to being able to tell a story, and the balance is demonstrating and telling the data as well as balancing the story. So this is an example of storytelling and data.
Raising a child, I could see had an effect on my father when it came to the signage and how he conducted his business. Over time, he started to withdraw more and more on the advertisements of alcohol and cigarettes as I grew up and started to become more influenced by my community. At the age of 25, I currently do not smoke. I don't drink. I'm college educated, and I look forward to going to law school and giving back to my community. So my purpose here is to show you the human aspect of the businesses that are conducted in Fresno. And you can see by the numbers of showing out we have here that the people that can operate these businesses operate in good faith. The ones that are the bad apples, we are all here to mutually agree that need to be fixed. We are here in encouragement to see that the city is working closely with the community, not just the business side, but also the youth group. And we encourage further communication between the two parties to make sure that we find a agreeable approach to resolve this issue. We don't want to make anyone the enemy that is not supposed to be. And we encourage further communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So tell me some things that kind of stood out from that around storytelling. He brought it to a relatable subject. He talked about his own experience with his dad growing up within a business that may have sold alcohol, that may have sold tobacco. What else stood out? No fillers in between. Yep, he went straight to the meat of the matter. He also sounded pretty inclusive. It was, we want to we want to make sure that everyone who's affected by this is part of the process. We want to, we as a community have come together. It talked about the people sitting in the seats behind him. All of those things amount to a type of storytelling that is inclusive, that shows both the data, but also the human effect. Any questions on that so far? All right. So storytelling, as an advocate, your goal is to get people to agree with you. As a storyteller, your goal is a little bit different. You want to get people, you want the reader or the person listening to your story to be part of the world of your issue and thereby understand the world differently. You want them to relate to you. You want them to relate to your experience. There are many times when we will have an experience and we talk about it with someone else, and they're like, you know what, I had that same situation happen to me. And so that kind of relatable, that kind of human connection is very important in storytelling. So we want to identify a character who encounters an obstacle and then finds a solution. So storytelling is authentic, it's relatable, it's specific, it's short, sweet, and to the point. Just by looking at this picture, and I know that many of you are in this picture, do you think you can compose a short story about this picture just by looking at it? Yeah? You see the candles, you see in front of the lemon, you see folks who are dressed up, you see warm clothing. It's all relatable, it's all connectable. You see people who are just smiling. I'm very jealous of some of those outfits. So it's, tell a story. Now this is about data
The Isla, I believe.
focus and then storytelling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members. My name is Layla Galamrazaiya. That's okay. And I live at 6697 North Meridian in Fresno. My zip code is 93710. And I actually am a health educator with the Fresno County Department of Public Health. The health department is concerned about the density of tobacco retailers and the prevalence of tobacco and alcohol advertising, not only in the city of Fresno, but in the entire county of Fresno. Research studies from Stanford, Brigham Young, and Harvard document that children are more likely to smoke when they live or go to school in neighborhoods where there's a high density of tobacco retailers. And my background is in tobacco control, and oftentimes tobacco and alcohol go hand in hand. So I'm going to be talking more from a tobacco perspective, but the licenses often go hand in hand as well. A research study from Johns Hopkins found that tobacco advertising at the point of sale provides an environmental cue that prompts individuals to buy the product even when they weren't originally planning to. And furthermore, according to a study from the University of Houston, when adult smokers who are trying to quit live within short walking distance of a tobacco retailer, they are less likely likely to be successful at quitting tobacco use. Reducing the advertising, marketing, and availability of these products is a proven upstream policy change that will help reduce the use of these products, especially for youth. The younger people are when they initiate alcohol and tobacco use, the more likely they are to be addicted, and the less likely they're going to be able to quit when they're older. We have a chance to prevent and lessen the ability to addict new generations and help people quit from tobacco and alcohol use. Thank you.
So a little bit different, a little more focused in on the data, but were there stories that were kind of intertwined with that? How many of you have gone to a liquor store or corner market and you've seen the row of cigarettes in the back or the row of alcohol in the back? She talked about that. She talked about, it's right there when you go to if I want to purchase my Hershey's bar, and it's right there. It's like, well, maybe a fifth of whiskey and a Hershey's bar might go well together. Also talked about youth who may walk by an area that has the signage or even adults that go by an area that has signage promoting tobacco or alcohol or other items, and how that can affect the individual. So it was more data focused, right? But more, there were stories that were still involved in that. Any questions on anything so far? Okay. So, again, we want to go back to this message triangle. Why are you here? What exactly is the problem? How is this a problem? So the data, what proof do we have that this problem is real and important? And then what can solve the problem? What is the best recommendation that will solve the problem? Now, it's your turn. Everyone has an agenda, right? Or a piece of paper? Maybe, maybe not. Does everyone have a pen? Okay. So there's agendas on the back. If you have a piece of paper or want to use the back of a presentation, feel free to. Your thing is your mission in the next, say, 5 minutes is to come up with a issue that you're concerned about, define what exactly is the problem, how is it a problem, and what can solve the problem. It can be, there's not enough candy dispensers on the corner, and we need to, this is a problem because I love candy, and you can put more candy dispensers in. But I would like you to just kind of put that out there on paper, organize your thoughts, and then I'm going to probably ask one person to come up and tell me what they wrote down, and I may just pick someone randomly. Yes? We're not putting definitions on this. If you think putting candy on every corner is the best, it can be, yeah. So this is coming from your perspective. Obviously, you're going to use the data to help inform that. We're not going to go and research a bunch of things right now. So, yeah, make up data if you'd like. So, again, why are you here? How is this a problem? And what can solve the problem? And I can do a little soft shoe while we're waiting. Do, 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 do. Remember that you should go to caroling, caroling, caroling. And those at home who are doing this, which I hope they are, Okay, Manila's done, so we should all be done, right? Reminds me of the movie that had about Queen Victoria, and that Queen Victoria was a fast eater, and so they would come in with this huge feast, and she would be at the front of the table. They'd put their plate down, everyone would start eating because she would start eating, and then she would go, okay, I'm done, after like 2 or 3 bites, and then all the staff would come and pick up all the plates of people who were eating. And it was a very quick meal, and people didn't get fed much. All right. I know a couple folks are still working on it, but in the interest of time, is there anyone? I think Jules' hand is automatically set to go up on. Come on,
Check,
Jules.
check, check. I don't have my lemon costume on me right now, so you have to just picture it in your head. Okay, so my problem is food security and access to affordable, healthy, fresh produce is limited in Lemon Grove. I personally, my data is going to be a personal data because I don't have the internet on me. I have trouble affording groceries right now, and that meet my nutrient needs. And I'm sure a lot of other Lemon Grovers do too. When I go to the grocery store, my bills have been going up and up every month. It's crazy. And I'm sure if we looked at census data and how much people have to pay for food here, we would see that in the data around these parts. In addition to that, I just watched a documentary about how, let's just say you wanted to buy your produce online via Instacart from somewhere else outside of our neighborhood. They're actually rigging the system so every individual has to pay different prices for the same products. I don't know if anyone knows this, but we could all be buying the exact same thing and it costs us all differently. So the system is rigged, unfortunately, with capitalism being involved in our food system. So the solution is we need to cut out the agricultural industry, in my opinion, and grow the food ourselves and provide it through a very robust farmers market, which should be downtown so that everyone comes to our downtown area. That's my solution proposed.
Okay. So does anyone have any thoughts on Jules' statement? I'm going to give you a couple notes, if you don't mind. One is that it's good to highlight things like the corporate aspect, the capitalist aspect. Did that distract a little bit from the message that folks were having a hard time finding food a little bit?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Because why you were here was about access to food, high quality food.
Too high level.
Too high level.
Too high level.
Too high level.
Got it.
Yep.
I get that.
So you could have said, the way that Instacart operates, which is a common service, sometimes it makes it harder or more difficult for me to get access to food. And I've considered that. So folks will say, if you say, well, just use Instacart, you've then given the information why Instacart doesn't work, and you're still in alignment with what you were trying to say.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? In the back.
Right, Helen.
Exactly how I'm going to say that, but okay, so I am here because I've noticed in Lemon Grove there are many seniors who live alone and are very socially isolated. And research shows that older adults who lack social activities experience more mental and physical health problems. They don't have a way to exercise, and there are other associated problems. So some of the solutions that I have considered would be that we could definitely use more community spaces where people can meet friends, have perhaps a senior center, but also just more inviting, welcoming parks with benches to sit and gather and enjoy our beautiful weather here in Lemon Grove. Sidewalks to make it walkable, just for exercise and enjoyment of the neighborhood. And definitely an improvement in public transportation, if not the entire system, at least some sort of shuttle bus or transportation to get people to the existing trolley and bus services that are available.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And Jules, I want to go back to you because you were talking about all I have now is personal data. Personal data is data, right? If you are experiencing it, you're an expert in it. So don't be afraid to talk about your own personal experience because that's storytelling. Any questions on that so far? Is this making sense? The only note I would give is that when you talked about the bus transportation, you talked about the system and all that, I would have just been the bus system as it is isn't supporting seniors getting out, because we don't necessarily have to explain every single detail, because how many people here in the room know that the bus system is not serving the needs of the community? Raise your hand. Yep. Okay. Yeah. How many people know? Yeah. So sometimes there's common knowledge that you just can highlight, and you don't necessarily have to go too deep on. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when we're giving suggestions for the solution, I mean, do we put ourselves in the other, like, let's say it's a city council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we might have a solution that's on a federal level that they can't do anything about. I mean, we need to make the solution something that, do we need to make the solutions something that they can actually act upon?
That would be
The best, right?
the best.
Okay.
But if there's an opportunity for the city to apply for a federal grant to solve a situation, that might address the issue as well.
Okay.
It may take a little bit longer, but it's still a solution. So you can rank your solutions on, the first one at hand versus down the road. And because this process of advocating, generally decisions happen over a series of meetings or a series of consultations. And so you can provide the top 3 solutions or the top solution, and then maybe come back at the next time and say, I spoke about this solution, here's another one I'd like to offer.
Got it. That's good.
Yes, ma'am.
You might also do the things simultaneously. So you talk to the city council about X, Y, and Z. You talk to your senator or your congressman. You talk to your assembly person and state senate. So those things can happen, and or your supervisor, county supervisor, so that when the city is willing or able or is considering whatever you're thinking, they have already the backing from all the other people.
All right. So effective presentations.
Oh, we have a question in the back.
Oh, sorry.
Jackie, coming.
Trying to get through in time.
Can you also, you have whatever the time limit that they have,
Yes.
right? So you can make your remarks within that time limit, but you can also submit a longer
Correct.
statement for the record.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
That's a good point.
And that could be, that's why I was saying if you have details about Instacart or the bus system, you can say, I've referenced additional information about this topic in the handouts I've given you. And that can help you. Quickly, communication style. Keep the audience engaged by telling a relatable story. The hook, but keep it short and simple. You can properly use visuals and handouts. That's sometimes difficult in a public meeting during a time of public comment, but you can give to a city clerk or a board clerk the information handout. They can distribute it to the members, or if you are have the opportunity to do a presentation, you can bring printed copies like I've done here. Know who you are presenting to and appeal to their values, obligations, and beliefs. So if you know who the people you've elected and you know how they're, especially in a smaller community, how they are connected, you can say, you know, council member so-and-so, you and I were at the planting that happened, and you and I both got our hands dirty. Wasn't that a great experience? Shouldn't we do that again? That kind of a thing. Yes?
You're talking to the council, not an individual person.
Correct.
So, but use that.
Yes.
So you don't say council member XYZ, but I met with council members, blah, blah, blah. So you have to remember in the city, actually, whenever you're talking to a council or board, you're talking to everybody at once. So calling someone out isn't really proper, but if you use that by saying, I was at the blah blah and planting with council members.
Yes.
And that keeps it with the whole team. And if you have competitive council members, it also says, hey, this person was already working, the council member is already working with the community here, maybe I should be too. So just an aside.
Yeah. And you can thank them, you know, thank those members who were there, and instead of calling out you're very, very correct. Be respectful of the speaking time allowed. You have usually 3 minutes, sometimes 2, and sometimes 1, depending on the circumstance. And yes, don't tell decision maker what to do, simply state facts and recommendations. So we want to think about eye contact. We want to think about our voice and how we are, if I am talking like this, or if I'm talking like this. Yeah. So we want to moderate our voice, our expression. If I have a scowl on my face and I said, you council members, you need, that's not helpful. Gestures, I won't go into that, but you know what I'm talking about. Position, if I'm like this, council, it's not, you're not relating. Movements, don't do the YMCA in front of when you, and attire. You know, this is a professional environment. You want to at least, I know we're in San Diego, and San Diego professional is a little bit different than other places, so know the environments you're going into. All right, some final thoughts. We've gone through this, and I'll turn over to Manola. There's some things that you should not do. Whoa. My computer froze. Ah. Yeah, go ahead and pull it out. Well, I don't know what just happened, but I think my computer froze. So, I will improvise. Don't sing to the council, because the council doesn't want to hear you sing.
Don't tell me that. I was affected.
There was a meeting of the Board of Supervisors where a gentleman stood up and went, shh, for the entire 3 minutes or 2 minutes he was up there. And then there is a video of a lady who had just done speaking. She had some papers in her hand. As she turned around and walked back, she hit the person who was opposed to what she was doing in the back of the head with those papers. The person, dramatically, admittedly, screamed and got up and then fell on the ground. Yeah, no, it is assault. Yeah, and that's true. But so maybe singing will work in certain circumstances, but it may not in others. So know what you're trying to get across and the severity or sincerity of the presentation. Went through that really quickly. Thank you, everyone who participated. You want to jump up, and I'm going to figure out.
So, most of my talk, can you put it on presenter mode? And then, most of my talk was done by Dave, which is great. Which is great. So, you want to speak to City Council. Why? What is your purpose? What is your direction? Here are some reasons why you might. To express satisfaction in something the city did. That's an important one. We have a tendency to come up when we're pissed. When we're pissed. Oh, yeah. This is a lot better. We also should come in and tell us what the city is doing well, so the council knows what to continue doing. Right? Celebrate something important to you in the city, an event or an award. If anybody went to the city council what is today, Wednesday? Last night? Okay, I'm good today. Then you heard a number of people come up and talk about the bonfire, right? So again, it's telling the city council what's good or what's important to you. Express frustration at something done or not done. We all know how to do that one, right? Make suggestions on improvement in the city and forecast events or actions that are happening. One of the things that we all need to remember is that the city council members are people. Some of them have full-time jobs. Some of them have a full volunteer caseload. They don't have all the knowledge of all the people in Lemon Grove. So you telling them that something is coming up that they might not have known or the city staff might not have known is a valuable piece of information. And remember, you're being recorded so other city members, so other members of the city will also know. That's the why. Next, please. So, adding a little bit more to what David said, how you present yourself is what's going to be the best for what you're wanting to get across. So, Jules coming in with a lemon suit was important. Why? Why was it important? So Chelsea said because she was trying to help Lemon Grove and show how devoted she was. Yes, and she showed enthusiasm. It's memorable. That's a big one. So next time the city council members are thinking about stuff, I bet they're going to remember the lemon. And yes, singing is not always good, especially if you don't sing well. But sometimes it might be important for what is going to express your point. Coming up, and you're going to talk about the Christmas caroling, starting off singing a Christmas carol wouldn't hurt if you sing well. If I did it, it would be really harmful. Next. So here's the process. So you come into city, first of all, what's not on here, is you're going to look on Thursday. On Thursday, the council agenda is available, okay? So Thursday, the council agenda is available. You go and you look at it. Please look at it and read the whole thing and read all the links to it. Because if you don't, and you come in and you're going to talk on something and you don't know all the information, it doesn't bode well for you. It makes you look like you don't really know what you're talking about. So now, as a city council member, I may say, okay, yeah, they're concerned, but that's not at the same level of John, who gave us all this information and knows what we're already talking about and what we're already thinking, right? So you go look at this, the agenda, read all the agenda, and you find that what you want to talk about is not on the agenda. Is not on the agenda. Then you can do the public comment. So that's the first part of the meeting, and that's just anything that anybody in the community wants to talk about. They have 3 minutes to talk about it. It doesn't matter what it's about. It can be on any of those things that we talked about earlier. This is how you fill out the form, though, for that. Next one. I did. Oh, I talked about what I just said. Okay. Okay, so it is. This is a public comment. So Sally Jo Sue wants to make a public comment. She wants to.
One thing to add. So one thing to add for the just general public comment is council members cannot respond to that public comment. I think several people go in thinking they can have a conversation and they're disappointed when we can't say anything.
Yes, that's a very important point. The process for public comment, regardless of when it is, so it can be the general public comment in the beginning, comment related to a particular item, during when we have a, what is it called, when, a public hearing, yes. Any of those times, sorry, any of those times, the council is not going to answer. They're not going to answer you. They will, the information is recorded, and if it's something that staff can answer, then staff will be instructed to answer. All things are not things that the staff can answer. And some of them, if you're announcing something, that's not something that anybody's going to answer anyway, right? Yes? Public comment is for an item that is not on the agenda. Then we'll go to the next one, but let's finish this one first. So, Sally Jo Sue wants to make a public comment. Address is optional. You can put your address or not put your address, but make sure that you say whether you're a resident or a property owner or a business owner, whatever it is, because I'm going to take, as a council member, I'm going to take what you say as a member of this community more than someone who's coming from outside. So tell us who you are. Phone number is optional. Here's why you want to put your phone number down there. I don't know why I put all my personal information there, but I did. I did this last week, and I was like, oh, I should have made something up. But anyway, you want to put your phone number there if you want the city to call you back. They can't contact you if you don't have any contact information. So a number of people complain that, hey, the city didn't come back to me. I made a public comment, and they didn't say anything to me. Did you give them a way to get back to you? The signature is required, and the date is required. Now, the speaker, it says the limit is 3 minutes. If there are a lot of people, it may be reduced to 2 minutes. Okay? So the next one. So this is a different one. This is when I want to speak to a specific agenda item. I want to speak to 2E. I don't know what 2E is. It's about education to girls, because that's what Seroptimus is about. So it's about education to girls, and I want to make a comment about that. So when that item is up, they will ask for public comment. The speaker slips will already have been turned in, because you need to turn them in the beginning before the whole stuff starts. And it says, who's speaking? I'm representing Seroptimus. It's Manola Clark Manson. Here's the date. And I didn't put that I'm a resident? What is the value of me not putting that I'm a resident? They might not care. Or at least not have, I mean, they care about everybody who talks, but it may not have the same value as if I put down that I'm a resident. Okay? That's the process. We're done. Questions? Yes.
Council meetings, but those forms are available at the time of the meeting?
So
or
when
do
you
fill them
walk
out
in,
advance?
that's
Oh.
a very good question. The question is, where are they? How do you get them? How do you get access? So when you walk in the door in our city council meeting, to the right is a table that has the agenda. It has a notebook that has all the public comments that were sent in. And it has, right next to that, it has public comment sheets.
So you can send them in advance?
You can put your public comment in as soon as you, anytime. So you can put your public comment in, say you want to have a public comment. This is what somebody said over here about having a longer public comment. Say Jackie. Was it Jay? If you have a long public comment, you have tons of data, you have a point to make that's going to be longer than 3 minutes, you can submit that prior to the meeting so that the council members receive it and they can read it. If it's too late, they're not going to read it before the meeting. So you might think about timing that better, but they're supposed to read them all. So
Okay, so if you submit it in advance, do you also stand up and speak at the meeting?
well, that's your choice.
Okay, one or the other, basically.
Well, no, that's your choice. You can do both.
But you only get 3 minutes or whatever the time
Right.
that they give you. But your longer one, you want to submit in writing. It becomes a permanent part of the record.
And how do you submit it? Before you can submit it via email? Oh, okay.
Clerk.
Like via email or fill out?
You can do email.
You can write an email.
Yes. Joel Pablo, who is our city clerk.
Just go on the website. You can
And
find
if you
his
go
address.
if you go to the website, please don't go to the main site. Go to the city clerk's page. Go to the city clerk's page. Everything is there. Everything that you want to know about city council meetings.
Is that on the website?
It's on the website, but his page. So you want to know when the meetings are, you want the agenda, you want previous agendas, you want the minutes that are recorded, you want any of the applications or announcements of openings on any of the commissions or councils. All of that is on the city clerk's site, but if you go to the main site, I promise you, you'll never find it. Go to the city clerk. City clerk knows everything.
So you can submit a published comment even if you're not able to physically attend the meeting?
You can, yes. So I'm going to say that one more time because that's a question that you're still asking, so other people are asking that question too. So you have 2 ways, soon to be 3 ways, to provide a public comment. You come in person, you fill out a speaker slip, you speak for 3 minutes. You write a public comment, you email the clerk, the city clerk. You, the only way to do it, you can email. Email the city clerk with your public comment, okay? Soon we'll be able to be online and do the same thing, okay? Yes.
Just to say, so just because you have the time, the 3 minutes to speak, doesn't mean that you will be fully granted that 3 minutes. If you deviate from, like during public comment time, if you're respectful, if you're not inflammatory, etc., there are certain limitations. you'll have your 3 minutes. If you're talking on a particular topic, like it's an agenda item, and you start talking on something completely different, the council, the mayor, or the chair will try to rein you back in. If you continue to go off, generally they will try one more time, and if you continue to go off, they'll say, thank you very much. We've heard your message.
I want to add the why are we talking about this? So why did we have dark sky last time? Why are we talking about how to go in front of a city council now? Those are the things that become really important. And in order to revitalize an area, there are going to be times that we need to go up and do this talking, right? We're going to have to be able to say, hey, this landscape is very outdated. And statistics show that landscaping and lighting are very important to help bring down crime, also to bring people to an area. Those are things that are important. So it's going to take us and other people online who want to help in these efforts, that knowledge of what you need to do to take each of these steps. Because the more people who feel this way, the more likely something changes or the faster it changes. And that is why we're talking about these things. And actively, right now, in current discussions of budgets, are things like lighting. That's an important factor. We are halfway through our fiscal year. We are looking at, finishing off the year. We'll have an idea of how much Measure T is bringing in. We will be doing budgets again. The discussions will start usually about May, June and stuff before we set our fiscal budget for the next year. So we might be talking about what we want included in those budgets and what is important to us as citizens for our city. So we are giving you guys the tools in building block meetings here on what to do to effectively help make this change. So want to make sure you guys are aware of the why. And then you... Yes, and I only gave a brief thing, but it is very, very important to say it's not just my idea. It's not just Chelsea wants this. It's very important to know that we are out here talking to people in groups to get an idea of what it is that we all want to see change, and we all have to be able to express that out there to the public. That's going to make the difference. It's not just hey, it's the Chelsea show. No, this is Revitalize Broadway, and everybody who's here in the meetings, everybody who watches online and submits something, we are part of the committee, all of us, whether you're just sitting here and listening or you're standing up here and you're talking, because we take the ideas that we hear from you guys and we bring them back out to the larger audience. So it's all important that it's all of us that shows that front. Anything else? Done. Jules?
I had a question going back to your conversation, which is, I know the answer to this, but not everyone might, which is how do we get something on the agenda that we care about?
On the agenda of the city council?
The actual agenda, so that it's talked about. Do you know? If you don't, that's okay.
I do. I'm trying to be clear. So the public doesn't determine the agenda. However, they can influence the agenda. So you bring it up in the public comment that you would like this brought up because it needs to be da-da-da-da-da. You talk to a city council member and say, we really need to address this issue, blah, 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 blah. You talk to multiple people, including the mayor and the, Lydia is the city manager. You talk to all of those people or any of those people and say, these are things that I think we need to be talking about. Then the city council member can say, I would like X, Y, and Z to be talked about. They get one other person to agree to talk about it, and it's agendized. But if no one can agree to put it on there, no one agrees, say Seth brings something up, and nobody says, no, I agree that should be, they're all like, no, I think that's dumb, I'm not doing it, right? No one would say that. No one would say that at all. But they certainly may say, I don't see any value in it in their head and say, no, I'm not going to say yes. But if we have talked about it, we collectively have talked about it and brought it to the city council in public comment, then it is more likely that when the city council member says, I think this should be brought up and agendized, somebody else will say yes. So it's all about constantly talking and being present and being aware of what needs to be talked about and where and how to do it.
I have a follow-up question.
Okay?
Okay, when do the city council members actually agree to, like, what meeting are they having when they're setting the agenda?
They're not having a meeting that's not public. They cannot have a meeting that's not public. So the agenda gets set by the mayor and the city manager.
How long before the meeting?
I can't know that.
Okay.
Do you know how long?
I think it varies, depending on availability.
Yeah. What's held over, what just came up? A minimum of 72 hours.
So I guess in answer to your question of how does it get set if two council members sign on to something, basically the council, as I understand it, a member would give that information to the city manager and the mayor. And then there may be an opportunity for another city council member to sign on. Two city council members can talk about an issue without that being considered a meeting. Three cannot, because they have 5-member city council. So two people, that's why I think it's two, is that two people, like I could approach, if I were a city council member, I could say, hey Seth, I'm really interested in this issue that's happening on Broadway. I'd like to have this bring up to the city council. Would you support that? And if he says yes, then we can send it to the city manager to be added. And ultimately, it's the mayor and the city manager who sets the agenda.
So once it's said, it's part of public record that this is agendized. Once Seth says, I want XYZ to be agendized. Yadira says, yes, I agree. It's agendized. That's all that's needed. There may be a request about, does everybody else agree? But two people said it, then it gets on the list.
I have a quick question. You said that there's not a lot of meat like by themselves, but don't they have like closed sessions?
That's not by themselves. Well, that's a lie. Okay. There are closed sessions where the lawyers are there as well as the city council, but this discussion is something that cannot be public. As an example is legal action. Another example is employee evaluations.
That's a good question.
My head hurt. So I wanted to confirm that in closed session, right, you have your discussion. While you can't disclose what each council person or whoever said something, you have to come out and say,
What was the conclusion?
right, they voted to blah, 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 but the details and who said what should not be disclosed. Oh.
Excellent.
I
So,
don't know the answer to that.
I think one thing I would add as far as getting things added to the agenda is the major contributing factor is what is the city's work plan and what are the priorities that they've set for that year. So first of all, go to that meeting. Go to the priority setting meeting and make sure that you're getting heard there. But the thing if you can put the thing that you would like to have happen in such a way that it works with the city's work plan and it is contributing to the priorities that have been set, you have a much greater chance of getting that on your agenda.
Right. It's a good point.
I don't remember all the things I said.
Hold on.
If it's on the plan,
And
if
then-
it already is on the plan, it's helpful if you are, whatever you're introducing and you want on the agenda, matches or coincides with what is already the agenda of the city. That's essentially what he said. So the other part of it is that Seth said that's really important is we have to be at meetings. We have to be at meetings. So you have to go to, I don't know, the planning commission meeting, the city council meeting, any of the workshops,
Priority
the
setting,
Measure
yeah.
T committee, the budget planning, the priority setting. All of those determine what's going to happen for the next 12 months. And if we sit out of those, then your opinion didn't get heard. And it may be what turns the views of where we go and how we get there. It's so important.
Excellent. This has
Okay,
been
last
really helpful.
question because
Last
we're
que-
over
yeah,
time.
We're over time by 8 minutes.
Back to public comment, I assume it would be more effective to attend the meeting in person and make your comment so that other attendees will know that it's a concern versus just submitting it privately.
Yes. Yes, because I try to read the stuff, but I don't. So I'm I'm the person who comes to the city council meeting all the time. When it's written, I'm like, yeah. Everybody hears the people.
Great. This has been so helpful. Thank you, Dave and Manola. You want to close it out?
Yeah, because we ran a little bit over, so I apologize. Next meeting, we will make time to have our work groups.
Is there action items of this group for folks?
We will be doing that in January.
Yes. Yes, so the question was, are there action items that this group will want to accomplish in 2026? I keep on stumbling over 2026 because it's hard to say because I feel like we just started 2025. So yes, there will be a planning session probably in January, and we will make sure that we have our work groups time set aside. Speaking of next meetings, our next meeting will be January 21st, 2026. The meeting after that will be February 18th, 2026. What are folks doing this weekend?
Caroling.
What are folks doing this weekend?
Caroling.
Okay. All right, and make sure you stop by the beautiful Promenade Park and check out the plantings. They're amazing. With that, I will say yes.
Make sure you fill out a
Event form.
event slip because there are events happening in January and you all need to put them down here so that we know about it.
Tomorrow's the last farmer's market. Awesome.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank
May
you.
you all have a joyful and happy holiday season. And may 2026 be a year of prosperity, joy, and peace.
Love it. Thank you, everybody, for coming.